everybody. Today we have an analytical approach to some cardboard. We're going to be breaking down the new Secret Lair and ultimately deciding, should you buy it? Is it worth it based on the current prices of the cards?
Jake, I think everybody's just going to prefer if you use your regular voice for this.
Whatever you say, Captain. Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We are here. It has been requested. We have heard you. We've seen you in the comments. We are going to look at the Secret Lair June Superdrop and do what we do. We are going to look at the lowest possible price you could get any of those cards in those individual layers for TCG market. And then we are going to tell you if we think it's worth it monetarily and or if it's worth it art-wise, because honestly, that's a huge consideration too. But before we get into it, think about hitting that like button if you like the video by the end of it.
Hit the dislike button if you don't. It goes into oblivion and we only just barely see it and it doesn't really matter anymore. But YouTube will tell you that we get that feedback. So if you hate the video, definitely hit dislike and it will go somewhere. Take all of the prices today with a grain of salt. We do our best to make sure that the prices are on fleek, but no.
You are a man in your 30s. You are not allowed to say on fleek.
We do our best to make sure that you have the most accurate prices, but the secondary market is all over the place. So don't let the FOMO take over. There will be more. Buy them if you need them. Buy them if you like the art.
Jake, are you ready to swap over? Let's check these out.
I'm ready to talk about the cards.
So we have got the June Superdrop 2022. We have been up to our eyeballs in Double Masters 22 coverage. And so as you can see at time of shooting this, there's 13 days and 13 hours left to go and make this purchase. You'll be able to tell how long it took us to edit this one and get it out based on what this clock says when you go to the website. Jake, we're going to do what we always do.
2 days, 3 days. It should
Yeah, probably
be out,
2 or 3 days. We stream Wednesdays and Thursdays. Come on back for that. We're going down to the bottom of the site, and that's where we're going to start with special guest Kelogsloops. Jake, this is an Australian artist who blends abstract and surreal art styles with anime influence from his upbringing to create mesmerizing scenes. And look, I gotta tell you, honestly, the art on this one is pretty sick.
Yeah, Mystic Remora is a big reprint. What we should know about Mystic Remora is it's a common from Ice Age, and it is a powerhouse in Commander. It's essentially like a little baby Rhystic Study going on here. A lot of people compare it to those type effects: Rhystic Study, Smothering Tithe, Esper Sentinel. It fits right alongside stacks pieces like those. This is the first ever Mystic Remora reprint that we've gotten, so this one is going to be available in foil and non-foil. Keep in mind the foils, you know, we talk about this sometimes they curl. So a lot of, like, my go-to is to get the non-foil versions of Secret Lairs that I'm interested in. That way I have playable cards. $9 card we're looking at here on Mystic Remora, and it is a big departure from Ken Mayer Jr.'s Fish, but it does look pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Retreat to Coral Helm doesn't represent a lot of value. This is like a $1 uncommon, but it does see play in competitive Commander.
It's good.
Yeah, it sees a lot of combo play. It's because of this land entering the battlefield. You're tapping, untapping target creatures. And then if you just need to, you can scry one. So not a ton of value, but it's still a good enchantment.
Yeah, and then next we have the borderless version of Burgeoning. This is a card that is very good. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So if you have a bunch of land in your hand, if you're trying to ramp out, Burgeoning is a great card to do that. And at 1 green, I mean, you can't really ask for more as far as a reasonable mana value.
Yeah, absolutely. $24 for Burgeoning. A lot of the value in this set, in this Secret Lair, sits with Burgeoning at 24 and Mystic Remora at 9. Utopia Sprawl brings up the end of it. This is a $5 card because of how much play it sees. It's not a rare, and so in its normal printings, and so for it to be a $5 card speaks to its power level. It's 1 mana ramp, and a lot of EDH at the competitive levels really puts a lot of value on those 1 mana cards. Total in this set, Jake, we have got $39 worth of value. That is a $30 price tag for the non-foil, and those are the prices we're talking about. All of our prices are TCG market prices, rounded the nearest dollar, either up or down, just to keep it simple. $39, though, TCG market for the non-foils. And then you've got the foils. If you don't mind a little bit of bend in your cards, those are possibly, probably, should be considered even more value, depending on who you talk to about the curling versus non-curling issue.
Yeah, and do keep in mind, we talked about Utopia Sprawl. That's a card that's a 4 of in certain modern decks and stuff like that. It's one of those cards, it's an uncommon. It's like a powerhouse uncommon. It goes right along stuff like Path to Exile, all of the like really powerful cards that we see, like Lightning Bolt, Remand. Whenever those pop up in Master sets, Utopia Sprawl is one of those cards that dips and then typically goes back up. So it's a really strong card, and this is a nice spread here. Save Retreat to Coral Helm, but I do like Retreat to Coral Helm. It's still a passive good card. Enchantment. It sits on the battlefield whenever lands come in, like you were saying. It does stuff. It's a fun Secret Lair, and right around the price point that they're offering it.
Jake, you want to look at Rule the Room. These are commander favorites that are all royalty. We have got 4 legendary possible commander options for you here. Represented Arcanus the Omnipotent. This is a $1 card. It's a cool card. I don't know if I'd run it as a commander, but in the 99 of the right deck, it's absolutely cool a dope thing to have. And yeah, the art is really sick. Going past that, Jake, we got Queen Marchesa at $4. And then we've got where the value actually lies, and that's Brimaz.
Yeah, this is, gosh, it might be the second printing ever, right? Of Brimaz, King of Erascos.
Yep, yeah, that's correct. Only ever printed in Born of the Gods.
Yeah, the art on these is really cool. I know that we just kind of skipped back Marquesa, but that is a really, like, the art on that is good. Brimaz looks good. They all look good. And these are the kind of cool, unique treatments that you're going to want for certain commanders. You know, we see all sorts of stuff these days. We see etched versions. We see, like, the borderless versions. These are really sweet, especially, you know, I like all of the cards here, all of the inclusions. Not a ton of value here. Savra, Queen of the Golgari, 1 black, 1 green, 2 other. Whenever you sacrifice a black creature, you may pay 2 life. If you do, each other player sacks a creature. That's a fun effect as well. And this is a card that's needed a reprint for a while as well. However, $3 on Savra, $4 on Marquesa, Brimaz at 17, you know, and that's because of scarcity.
Right.
But again, keep in mind, don't buy these unless you like really like the art you plan on using these cards. Don't feel like you need to be a completionist on this. Tons of these Secret Lair products just float around on the secondary market, and if you miss one of these, you can pick it up later. I really do like the treatments on these. The only card that I would probably use out of this would be maybe Marquesa, so I don't really need a lot of these.
For sure. Peter Diamond really knocked these out of the park. I also am a big fan of this style. And yeah, for me personally, Queen Marchesa and Savra, I would use those two to like put those commander decks together, because I've always been interested in those commander decks and just never really gotten the cards or taken the, you know, impetus on myself to go and do it. And so this is the kind of thing that normally I would do with a Secret Lair is go, I'll build that commander now, you know. But with this set, it's $30 for your base copy, $40 for your foil. You're looking at $25 worth of value. So for this one, the value is not there unless you really want these commanders in these treatments, in which case the value is there.
Next up, we have some lands to talk about, the Tokyo lands. Now, these are one of each basic land. The easiest way to say this is that essentially these are not worth it. Basic lands are the cheapest, bottom of the barrel thing that you can get in the game. You 1,000,000% do not need any of these cards in this specific layer if you want to play the game.
Yep, unless you want them. And that's what these basic land sets have always come down to. I've said this a million times. A lot of times the basic land sets are purchased less. That actually puts fewer copies of them out into the wild, and so they can hold value and grow in value over time more than some of these other sets. But at the base version, you know, if you just need basic lands, you don't need these. And so yeah, it's hard for us to sit here and say, oh, this has value, other than if you really like the art and if you think, you know, getting these in bulk and stocking them, putting them in a closet somewhere is going to be the kind of returns you want, just because they're going to be so desirable years down the line when they're no longer available. But yeah, I have to, when I put the numbers for these together, Jake, I always have to put a 0 next to the land value, and it brings the overall, I would say, bundle price down when we get to what is all the value of the 6 secret layers in this versus the lowest bundle cost for all the non-foils. But you know, you just have to know going into this that most of these secret layers do have a basic land set in them, and so that is pretty much always a 0. Notably, these are available in foil etched, not in foil, as their second edition, $30 and $40. And so a lot of the complaints that we have about these arriving already prinkled, we think that foil etched sort of circumvents that, and we don't have that same issue.
Yeah, and also with basic lands, some decks, they are super competitive. They might have a super refined mana base, and they don't need a lot of basics. So say that swamp or that island really speaks to you. You're like, I have that one modern deck, it only runs one swamp, it only runs one island, the rest are shock lands, then maybe this is a good lair for you. You're like, finally, the swamp I've been looking for the deck.
Our 4th secret lair that's part of this June super drop is Artist Series Livia Prima. Livia has got more than 50 MTG cards under their belt already. I mean, you can recognize some of these fantastic top pieces. Our most recent reprint of Nirkana Revenant, Tevis Zat, Sephara Sky's Blade, Destiny Spinner, cards that people have been playing. Emery, Lurker of the Loch, this is classic art. So it's cool to have Livia coming through for a secret lair. Now, looking at the cards though, we've got a Chroma Angel of Wrath that's $3, a sweet amount of value in Mikaeus, which we'll come back to, Glissa Sunseeker, which is an interesting choice for this one to me, but only a $1 card, and Olivia Mobilized for War, which, you know, Jake has talked about it on the channel as a possible under the radar commander.
I like that
very
card.
Cool.
It never
treatment.
got any love. It never got any love.
But this treatment is sick. But as far as value in the set goes, Jake, I feel like I have to toss it to you to talk about old Mike here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a combo card. It's a great EDH card, and it's a scarcity play. Mikaeus came out in Ultimate Masters, and that was the biggest dip that we ever had on the card. It got nice and low. This essentially, Mikaeus now, after being printed in Dark Ascension, the list, and Ultimate Masters, is now around a $20 card. This is a card that is, again, very strong. That Undying that this gives to other non-human creatures, it's what leads to some combo degeneracy, especially with stuff like Triskelion. I would just say that this Secret Lair, Mikaeus is the value. Everything else is $3, $1, $2. So if this is a card that you've been holding off on, if you really like this art, which I do like this art. I mean, this art is pretty sweet, dude.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Mikaeus,
really tight.
Like, yeah,
Livia's a master.
It's great. It's great. So this is a card that's definitely good for EDH. If you don't have a copy, here's a nice little concise way to get it. You could buy the non-foil version for $30. You could buy the non-foil version of this layer. And again, that doesn't include the secret card that's within as well. But other stuff here, I mean, I like Glissa. I think Glissa is a unique inclusion. This is a card that we actually reviewed on the channel. I believe the card was in Mirrodin or that block. But we actually like the card for a nice renewable destroy target artifact. There's so many artifacts in the format these days that having a creature that you can tap to destroy is cool too.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent, cool treatment here on Olivia Mobilized for War. Love the detail in all the armor here. Same with the Chroma Angel of Wrath. Just a beautiful representation of an absolutely classic creature, classic character in MTG. However, overall, depending on if you look at Mikaeus as a $20 card or a $30 card, list copies go for around 20. Your Dark Ascension OG copies go for around 30. So the truth is somewhere in between there. Mikaeus represents between 20 and 30. Chroma, Glissa, Olivia, less than $5-6 extra combined on top. So you're looking at about 25 to maybe $30 worth of value. Again, depending on if you just want to go pick up a copy of Mikaeus off the list, or if you do want to pick up that OG. So just under or right at as far as value goes. But that brings us to the Chris Rahn one, Jake, and we've got some excellent art here too.
So of course, Chris Rahn, we know about this artist in the MTG sphere. We have Swords, we have Cyclonic Rift. He's done some masterpiece inventions. it essentially, like, they're like, hey, Chris, we got a new sword that you need to do. He's like the sword guy. But yeah, tons of stuff here. Lyra Dawnbringer, Platinum Empyreon. There's something to be said about these Secret Lair products. They're all very calculated. Most of the time, we should say 90% of the time, the cards that they choose specifically, like right at the value of each of these layers. Let's go ahead and start this off. Primeval Titan, a card that would have a ton more value if it were legal in EDH. However, Prime Time is played in Bloom Titan, and it's a 4 of in those decks in Modern, so don't write this card off as having no value, even though it's $5. It's had some like GP promos. It was the most powerful Titan in the cycle of Titans when the Titans first came out. I believe it was maybe M11, might have been around M10. The other cards in here, it's actually a decent spread though. Huntmaster of the Fells, $10, got a little bit of werewolf support with these latest Innistrad sets. And then also Platinum Angel is a $10 card. And the money hit here is going to be Kozilek the Great Distortion. Why couldn't it have been a better Kozilek? Because other Kozileks are much more expensive.
It would have put
the layer way too over. Those cards are in an echelon called they appear in Masters sets.
Right.
So these are all around a $5 price at prime time, all the way up to 17 for Kozilek the Great Distortion. This card originally came to us in Oath of the Gatewatch. I'm not super high on it.
I really love Chris Rahn's Platinum Angel here. This piece is sick. There is that like occasional commander deck where I'm like, I think I'm putting Plat Angel in here. You know, if I'm doing my Hidetsugu damage combo, I want to make it so that I can't lose. When I take everybody's life total down below 0 with some ridiculous X spell after I Hidetsugu everybody. If I'm playing, flying tribal that can like cheat some flying creatures onto the battlefield, also not the worst creature to have in your deck. I just personally love this treatment. I definitely want to target this single. But yeah, Chris Rahn knocking it out of the park with the art. The Wizards knocking it out of the park with the value there. It's nice to have a Secret Lair that's got over $12, $12 over that line of value into it. Which brings us to the 6th and final drop as part of this layer, and we've got Artist Series Volkan Baga. Volkan Baga has done some of the most iconic specialty pieces. You've got masterpieces across there. You've got Edgar Markov, which still needs a reprint. Snapcaster Mage, the original version. Yep. This is such a cool artist. I love this choice of artists that are getting their limelight, their Secret Lair limelight in this one. I do want to point out we've got Volkan Baga on our OG Elspeth Knight Errant, and one of the cards is Elspeth Knight Errant. Volkan Baga coming back through to do a little redesign on Elspeth.
Yeah, $13 here on this card, and it's because it does pretty much what we want it to do, right? It creates dudes, they protect the Planeswalker. It has a very strong emblem. Maybe we get to it, maybe we don't, but otherwise it's able to create soldiers and then it's able to buff them. Yeah, this is a strong card, but again, Planeswalkers, they kind of lose some potency in decks outside of stuff like Atraxa and stuff like that in EDH. So
Chromatic Bridge.
Right. This is a card that has been played in Modern a little bit. It's a card that has some application outside of Commander, but it does look very beautiful. $13 card. And then next up we have Patron Wizard. This is a $4 card here. And this is, again, if you were to go on the secondary market and buy a non-Secret Lair version of one of these, you could go do it for $4. Tap and untap wizard you control, counter target spell, unless its controller pays 1. I think this is a strong card in a Wizards build. I think it's great in the 99. Obviously, at 3 blue, it's going to be a little bit narrow where you could put it. Maybe a 2-color deck, something like that. And then after Patron Wizard, we have Berserk. Now, this is a very strong card.
This is a doozy of a reprint here, too.
Yeah, doozy of a reprint. And Joel has some really good notes here. Only in Conspiracy, FTV Exiled, and Alpha Beta Unlimited Collectors.
This was an OG MTG card that has not been reprinted except for Conspiracy. And I did make the note on there, it was in From the Vault Exiled, but those From the Vault sets, they definitely do not move the needle on the price of this. That's not a reprint. That is just like a vacuum, in a vacuum printing, we'll say. This kind of is a reprint. at least these secret layers are more available. If you want one, you can buy it. That always wasn't guaranteed with those from the vaults. Wizards would only allocate a certain amount of those to a lot of the LGSs. They were very hard to get your hands on, and they were expensive. But Berserk, is a $30 card. And so that sort of throws off the value for this set, because Berserk being an old card that is completely scarce, and that is the entire reason its price is right there, it really throws off that meter, being a $30 card. So, right. I mean, outside of that, cast it only during your combat damage step, gains trample and gets +X plus O until end of turn, where X is its power, and then at the end step, you got to destroy that creature if it attacked this turn. You go for the win, you go for the fling, exactly. You want to do this when you're going to destroy, you know, you want to do this when you've got fling ready to go, but in the right deck, this could be a very playable card. I'm just saying the value of this is completely based on scarcity.
Yeah, that's right. Let's go ahead and talk about the last card here, and it is Verduran Enchantress, $5. And Joel, with the great note here again, first black border version.
Yes.
So if you're interested in getting a non-white border version of Verduran Enchantress, this is a great way to do it. Obviously, this card plays well in Enchantress builds. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you may draw a card. That's kind of like the whole MO of those decks.
Oh,
you have a lot of Enchantress type stuff that are enchantment dependent, that when you start to play enchantments, your hand just starts to fill up and you just start to roll away with the game. All in all, $52 value on this Secret Lair. Most of the value is in Berserk, but Elspeth has some nice value as well, but the real value is in the art and whether or not you like the Secret Lair. If it speaks to you, if it's something that you like, if these are 4 of your favorite cards, I reckon you'll be getting it. If you don't really care about any of these cards, maybe you're a Rakdos player, you'll probably take a pass.
So then let's talk about the overall value in this entire Superdrop. And you know what, Jake? We're just going to drop our notes right here on the screen. Go ahead and screen cap this if you want to. You can see we worked down through all of the secret layers. Their value is A right under each of them. And we want to talk about the total value of this set. You've got $149 for the no foils bundle if you just want all of these non-foiled. And that is going to get you about $183 worth of value. And I want to make the note again that that is a fat 0 for the land secret layer. So assign whatever value you think is fair to that land secret layer.
$5 a land, $7 a land, whatever you think.
It goes up from there. You're cracking 200 pretty easily if you just go, yeah, each of those is $4 to $6, you know. But I would say $180 to $200 worth of value in the non-foils for the non-foil bundle. You double them however you want to do the math to look at the foil value if you're targeting those. Jake, we got another super drop where they're just above the mark, just above the value mark.
So the value for the no foils bundle is $149 before tax. Is that
correct.
What we're seeing?
That's
okay,
correct.
So yeah, in total value, $183 for the non-foils. So yeah, right around there after taxes and shipping, all that stuff. Now the all foils bundle is $199. That is going, I mean, obviously you're going to have foil versions of some powerful cards here, like Nicaeus, the Unhallowed. You're going to have powerful foils like Mystic Remora, which is a big deal. Burgeoning. Yeah, there's some really fun stuff in here, and do keep in mind that, you know, sometimes with the foils, they just don't come out, you know, I hate to say this, but they don't come out playable. So
no,
like,
it's honest. They're not. I mean, it's honest. I have to double sleeve individual cards in my commander deck because I play with the secret layers that I buy. That's just how I engage with the product. And having individual cards double sleeved in a deck of just a bunch of single sleeve cards sometimes irritates people. So yeah, it's just honest. I don't think it's a we hate to say it. It's a we like to tell the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I do hate to say it though. I mean, it's not a fun thing where I'm like, well, now this is the part where we tell you if you order foils, they might not be playable.
Seriously.
And then obviously the final bundle is the bundle at $329 before tax and shipping. So
It's that $200 plus the $150, and you're getting both together for a little bit of a discount.
I guess the last thing that we should ask is, Joel, what are you getting? Are you going to get any of these?
The Mystic Remora set. I'm going to get the one Mystic Remora set, probably get it in foil because I always do and I'm a glutton for punishment. But that of all of these is the one that I really, really want. For all the reasons I said, they're all playable commander cards and they're going to slot into a deck almost immediately, all of them.
I have to agree with you. The only other one that I am a little bit on the fence about is the Artist Series Livia Prima, which is going to get the Machias, and I do like the Glissa. Even though Olivia and Achroma aren't worth a lot of money, I do like that version of Machias possibly for my deck.
Yeah.
But yeah, right where you are with the special guest Kelogsloops, getting that Mystic Remora $9 card, you know, also you're going to get a really cool bling and foil version that
for sure
does not exist. You know, you can't get a foil Mystic Remora currently with what's on the market. And then that $24 burgeoning big card. So yeah, that one looks pretty strong.
Let us know what you think. Which of these are you buying? Which of these did you not like our analysis on? What little notes, like first time in foil, what little things didn't we find? Let us know down in the comments.
There you go. And remember in the future, when you're buying a Secret Lair product, to come back to Jake and Joel, because we're going to give you a technical analysis broken down by the price of cards.
You'll never believe this Secret Lair blew my mind!